So I made my first visit to a designer outlet since starting the channel, and I thought I'd share a bit of my experience with you. Well, actually, it started off as an idea to compare running shoes. I'd already reviewed the Nike V5 Runner and the New Balance 740, and so it remained one last piece to the puzzle, the Asics 1130. So I went online, ordered a pair and waited for it to arrive. I waited and waited and waited, guys. I even improvised and did an emergency review of the New Balance 1906A. And by the way, do check that video out if you haven't. But after days of waiting for the rain to stop, like Noah, I decided to go to a mall or an outlet and get this pair for myself. And so because I was in the city of Nottingham for an event, I decided to look for a nearby mall, and that was how I found the McArthur Glen Designer Outlet. Yeah, so I got up in the morning and did the usual morning routine, got ready and set out for the day with the aim to explore the outlet for sneakers and maybe grab some snacks along the way. So yeah, let's hit the road. Now, in case you are thinking of shopping here at some point, it is located in Cannock, which is about 130 miles northwest of London, and though the outlet itself was launched in 2021, the parent company was founded in 1993 by the Kempfer partners. Now, it's not a massive outlet, to be fair, as it's just about 280,000 square feet in landmass and has a total of 130 shops, including food shops, that is. Well, like I said, my main goal today was to find a pair of Asics 1130s and maybe try on some other sneakers and see if I'd find a hidden gem. But do let me know in the comments, what's your favourite mall or go-to spot for sneaker shopping in the UK? Okay, so I made it to the mall, and just like I thought, it wasn't massive, but I think it was sizable for the location. Great parking space if you want to come with your car, and the bus and train stations are not too far off either. Now let's head inside and check out what it's got to offer. The vibe here wasn't too bad, to be honest. There's lots of stores, good energy, and they've also got a children's play area just in case you come with kids. Now, first up, no, it's not Skechers, and I promise I wasn't being a snob or anything. I just think I was just certain I wasn't going to get a Skechers shoe at the time, so I moved on to look for a different store, and I ended up in front of, nah, that's a store that I would go in, so I did. So as soon as you head in, you can see they don't have any in-house production. They are a third-party retailer like JD, for example, and look, they had quite the variety in terms of brands. They've got Boss, Vans, Puma, UnderArmor, New Balance, Lacoste, Hugo, and also a couple of shoes if you prefer those. Now, they didn't have the prices on display, which I found a bit frustrating, as I didn't want to have to inquire about prices for every single sneaker that I touched. Not the best experience in the end. I think the only standout shoe that they had for me was the New Balance 327s, which for some reason I never quite liked at first, but I think lately it's starting to grow on me. Let me know if you guys want a review on them. I also saw the Fresh Foam Marishi V4s, but nah, those weren't for me either. Yeah, so that's it for Sole Trader. Moving on to the next store, we've got UnderArmor, guys, and this was a bit more organized because at least they had the prices on them. It was mostly runners in the men's section, which was expected as UnderArmor is primarily a sports and athletics company, so no surprise there. Pricing was anywhere between £50 to £70, which for an outlet I wouldn't say it was relatively cheap, as I'm sure I could get better online for the same price. Overall, the quality on them didn't seem too bad, so yeah, if you've got extra cash, you could definitely get one for the gym if you wanted. Now, next up was Nike, guys, and obviously this was one of the stores I was looking forward to just to get a feel of what they had in store, you know. And guys, you can already see the difference as soon as you walk in. It's relatively bigger than the previous two. Of course, it's Nike. There's different sections, all quite sizable, but I went right straight to the men's section, and yeah, there was a variety of lifestyle and athletic footwear. Look, they had prices on them, mostly 30% off, which wasn't too bad. Now look at what I mean, guys. If I could get Jordans for £62, why in the world would I want to get UnderArmor ones for the same price? I just think most people would rather spend that money on the Nikes. I don't know, maybe it's just me. They also had the Nike React, which I wanted to get, but as you can see, they didn't have it in my size. I did end up buying it online from Asics, and that's what I currently use for workouts at the gym. But yeah, they had the Air Maxes, the Vomeros, the Jordans, and in this section they sort of also let you know that it's available to order online via their website. So it's sort of like advertising to drive digital sales. Not a bad strategy at all. They also had quite a number of these Juniper trails. I'm not really sure why, because there seem to be a lot of them on there. Probably clearance due to low sales or for promotional purposes. If you've got an idea why, do feel free to let me know in the comments. So my standout shoe here would have to be the Nike Air Max DNs in grey. I was actually tempted to get these guys, but for some reason I changed my mind at the last moment. And I also fancied the Zoom X Vaporfly 3s, as these are really popular even though they currently have the Vaporfly 4s, and actually those have been a flagship on Nike for some time now. I think they looked amazing, especially in this colorway. But yeah, I ended up not getting these just because I felt the price was too steep, guys. I just felt it was one of those hype sneakers that make you pay way more than you normally would. I think it was about $240 a pair at the time, so yeah, I had to resist the urge and look away. But if you do decide to get these, I wouldn't blame you, because these look really lovely, and I think they currently are on sale for 30% off, so you would be getting them for considerably less. Now finally, I want to mention these boots, guys, because there was loads of them here, and to be honest, normally I wouldn't mind a pair of boots, but for me, boots aren't really something I would necessarily associate with Nike. I think Timberland are my preferred choice, or even Adidas or Hugo Boss, but not Nike if I'm being honest, so I didn't give it any consideration at all, but I didn't think they looked bad. Yeah, so that was it for Nike. Not too bad, the pricing was okay, nothing you couldn't get online to be fair, which for me is and used to be the main selling point of outlets. I just think everything has become so digitalized these days that you will really struggle to get a good bargain in store in comparison to what you will get online for the same item. But yeah, moving on to the next store. Guys, wait, one thing I actually realized was shopping can actually work up an appetite. So at this point, I made a stop at the mini food court for a quick bite. Now, they've got a number of food places to be fair, so yeah, make sure you try one of them out if you do come here sometime. The food place I went to was called 200 Degrees Coffee, and I did have a cup of cappuccino and a sandwich, which tasted really good, so yeah, I definitely recommend. And afterwards, I felt quite refueled and rejuvenated and was ready for some more sneaker hunting. Now, so my next stop was Tommy Hilfiger, guys, and I wasn't too keen on them, to be fair, because their sneakers, let's just say they've never really been my vibe. They had these New Balance 327 lookalikes, which I quite liked, to be honest, as I thought they'd really go well with jeans or chinos for that laid back, relaxed, old school look. Also, they are mostly famous for these low top flat soles, but for these I'd much rather do the Adidas Stan Smith, or if you wanted something a bit more premium, Gucci Ace or Dior. Those are just more my taste when it comes to these sorts of shoes. I have done Nike in the past, but yeah, not Tommy Hilfiger. But I do appreciate that they are a brand that some people most definitely swear by, so yeah, do let me know if you are one of them. Maybe I'm tripping. I did check out some of their clothing items, some shirts, t-shirts and jeans. Didn't bother trying any on again because that wasn't really what I was here for. I did come across Calvin Klein, but I just felt it was going to be more of that same Tommy Hilfiger vibe, so I didn't end up going in. Now Adidas, of course I was going to go in, especially after I'd just been at Nike. And quite similar to Nike on going in, yeah, this looked really great. I mean, it had a really sporty vibe. Went to the men's section and there's the Stan Smiths I mentioned earlier. The Gazelles, the Samba OGs in different colorways. It gained 30% off on these, so I think this is probably a pricing theme throughout the outlet. Now, I'm sorry to say, coming out of Adidas store, I didn't really think I had a top pick. Okay, maybe the Oswegos, is that what they're called? I suppose, but nothing else really. And by the way, who else thinks these are the Adidas version of the Nike Huaraches? Anyone? No one? Okay, maybe it's just me, but yeah, I wasn't really thrilled. And I know it might be a bit hypocritical because it's just an outlet after all, but I just felt compared to the Nike store, it just seemed like this is where all the low sale items were shipped. And yes, you could argue that that's what outlets are essentially for, but I just think it doesn't really need to feel like that, you know? Don't make it so obvious. Leave some hidden gems here and there, you know, that's how it's done. But I guess if you're a brand that's been around for almost a century and you are worth 16 billion, you're not really looking to take advice from me, so I'm just going to shut up and move on. So next stop, Vans. Now going in, I must admit it didn't feel quite spacious and roomy as Nike or Adidas, but it did feel quite compact, which I actually liked. It was like everything was just very much within reaching distance and you didn't really have to walk too much to get to anything. I thought the space management was really on point. Now, in terms of their offerings, I was actually impressed by one thing. Unlike the other stores, with the Vans, they had almost all their collections in store. It didn't feel like leftovers at all. They had the popular old schools, the high lanes, the skate highs, the Skechers. Look, it was all there, and they had them in different colorways as well. Nice touch. I also had a brief look at some of the clothing as well, and those weren't bad either. I think my standout would definitely be the old schools in white or this black pair, just because it's simple and doesn't bring too much attention to the shoe, thus allowing the outfit to shine, which is the vibe I'd go for if I had to get a pair of Vans. I'm not a fan of the high tops, but I'd acknowledge some people might be. I don't think the pricing was the best, to be fair. It was 20% off compared to the 30% that others were offering. There was also the buy 2 get 20% off option, which I felt was even less attractive. That being said, I wasn't too disappointed, probably because I didn't really have any high hopes going in. Now, if we move on to the next store, guys, alas, my main reason for coming here in the first place, it was the Asics, and I was really excited to go in. The color from the outside as you walk in was all giving that colorful Asics theme. But as I started to look through the sneakers, guys, I started to get a bit disappointed, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, don't get me wrong, they had some nice pair of runners in there and some variety of colors as well. They just didn't have the 1130s, which was specifically what I wanted to get. And I was really hopeful that they would, because the 1130s are popular. I mean, this was the only pair they had, and it wasn't the classic ones. I appreciate that it's in suede and all, but the colorway just wasn't worth it for me. But in terms of the other runners, guys, they had the gel Keanos, they had the gel Trabucho 11, they also had the 1090 V2s, the gel Sonoma 7s for as low as £40. My top pick would definitely have to be the Quantum 90, guys. I think it just looked really good in real life and was going for £49 in store when it's currently at £95 on retail. That's about 50% price cut. It's definitely worth it. Unfortunately, they didn't have this in my size, so yeah, yet another disappointment. Finally, you wouldn't believe who I found. It was North Face. And guys, if I'm being honest, I think they should just stick to clothing and maybe not footwear, because honestly, I wasn't impressed at all. I mean, design wise, I didn't see anything unique and quality wasn't any better. I think if you're a brand that's not really popular for your footwear, then you decide to go into that market, you need to come in strong, because you are going to be competing with the good and the greats. Well, I was on my way out when I came across one final store, and this was a brand I hadn't heard of prior, and that is Saucony. Is that Saucony or Sauc? I don't know. I hope I'm getting the pronunciation right, but yeah, apparently they are an American footwear and apparel brand founded in 1898, guys. Imagine, like, so they've been around for more than a century, which I suppose demonstrates sustainability, even though I wouldn't exactly say that they're a global or popular brand. I must say, in terms of design, they looked a lot like the Asics, which, to be honest, again, for an unpopular brand, that is maybe not the way to go. You want to carve out a niche for yourself, and it's not like they're cheap either. Look, they've got basic looking sneakers selling for £200 and on sale for £130. Nah, I'm gonna pass on this occasion, but maybe next time. But yeah, that was it for me, guys. I think my standout stores were probably Nike and then Asics and then Adidas in third place. A few other stores you might want to check out when you visit, guys. They've got Moss Bros for your suits. They've also got Kate Spade. They've got Coach, Castore, Jack Wolfskin and a few others. I just didn't bother going in any of these because I specifically went out for a sneaker. But if you guys want me to include non-sneaker stores next time I'm out, just let me know in the comments and I'll do that next time. That being said, I wouldn't travel to come out to this outlet, guys, if I'm being completely honest. Maybe if I was around these areas, I probably would stop to see if I get lucky with any discounts. But besides that, I'd much rather go to a mall and spend the extra cash and get my money's worth. Well, what a day. Bit disappointed, to be honest, because I didn't end up finding any sneaker that was worth it for me. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys. If you like this vlog, drop a comment below and let me know so I can make more content like this. And also let me know which was your favorite sneaker from today's hunt. Also let me know in the comments if there's any other mall or store that you'd like me to visit. And don't forget to hit that button and subscribe for more sneaker content. Until next time, guys, stay stylish. See you in the next video. Peace.